Welcome back to the GSMC College Football Podcast, presented to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. Gonna talk about Bret Bielema, Illinois head coach right now, and is he kind of being disrespected, overlooked? I kind of think so a little bit. So he did just sign a contract extension, which is kind of what prompted my looking into him and just thinking about what he's done as a head coach. So signed a 6-year extension. The new contract is going to run through 2031, and he's also going to get a nice little pay increase. Going to be paid about a cool $7.7 million per year. Not a bad gig if I say so. But this is a guy that, while he's been at Illinois, he has a 28-22 record overall, 18-18 in the Big Ten, so 500 in Big Ten play, and 1-1 in bowl games. But Illinois right now, they're choosing continuity over kind of chaos, choosing identity over impulse. Bret Bielema, he's not a guy that is going to be, the flavor of the month of the national stage. Not really a coaching darling, not a guy that's a viral recruiter, not going to use really displays of flash wealth. That's not his thing, right? That's just not who he is. But this is a really significant extension for Illinois, I think. They're not chasing relevance. They're building staying power right now. They're not trying to upgrade from Bret Bielema. This is a guy that is now locked in for the next 6 years for them, and a dude that's a program builder. He's got NFL pedigree. He's got SEC institutional memory. He has developed a lot of players, brought that kind of ethos from Wisconsin, from Iowa, to Champaign, Illinois, and implemented that and had success doing that. This isn't a guy that's a one-and-done kind of mirage. He's really built success on his continuity, and this is going to be a guy that could potentially lead Illinois into sort of a golden age of their football program. This is something that I think it really is a good move for Illinois. He's a guy that's transformed Illinois football from a complete afterthought to a respected football team. Even if you said that 5 years ago, yeah, Illinois is a respected football program, I think people would laugh at your face. That's just how bad they were before. They really were a layup on everybody's schedule. You would go and you see, oh, we got to play Illinois. All right, beat them by 40 points. That was just kind of how it worked. But that's not the case anymore. Bret Bielema has built them into somebody that's a massive problem. They're not a layup on anybody's schedule. They're not an afterthought. They're a tough out every time they have to play them. And then you look at this guy's pedigree. 3-time Big Ten champion as a head coach at Wisconsin. Had that run from 2010, 11, and 12, where he led them to 3 straight Big Ten championships. A guy that in his first season as Wisconsin's head coach, taking over for Barry Alvarez, was the Big Ten Coach of the Year. A guy that's produced 37 All-Americans as a head coach, and also had 55 NFL draft picks produced. So just those stats alone, it shows that this is a great coach. This is a guy that should not be as overlooked as he is. And then you look at the fit with him in Illinois, a dude that grew up in Prophetstown, Illinois, which is actually closer to like Iowa City kind of, but still obviously in the state of Illinois. And throughout 16 years as a head coach has gone 125 and 85 and 80. So 61% winning percentage. And also was a great coach for Wisconsin. Kind of struggled at Arkansas. Arkansas, that was a tough situation he was brought into. That program was really kind of down in the dumps. But I think this is a good move for Bret Bielema, for Illinois. Look at what Illinois has done since he's been their head coach. He has brought them back to national relevance. They have continued appearances in the AP Top 25, in the CFP rankings. They've been to 2 New Year's Bowls. They've had 3 national award finalists. They've had 11 All-Americans. They've had 12 draft picks since he got there in 2021. Now, if anybody can tell me that kind of success at Illinois before Bret Bielema, I would like to hear that. Because in my lifetime, I've never thought of Illinois, seen them as a legit football program, frankly. This is a team that has completely kind of changed perceptions around the Illinois football program based on Bret Bielema right now. You look at 2024 last year, Illinois tied the program record. They had 10 wins. They're ranked by the CFP selection committee for a program record 4 weeks in a row. They appeared in 12 AP top 25 polls, and they tied the program record for ranked wins. They had 4 ranked wins, and they capped it off by beating a team that almost got into the college football playoff in South Carolina, a team that I'm really high on as well. They beat South Carolina in the Citrus Bowl, beat them 21-17, and that was probably one of the best bowl game victories in Illinois football history. Then they finished the season ranked 16th in the top AP 25. First Illini coach to go to 2 bowl games in a row. First one to go to his 2 bowl games in his first 4 seasons as a head coach since Lou Tepper, who did that in 1991 to 1994. So 30 years, there wasn't any coaches that had been to 2 bowl games in their first 4 seasons in Illinois football history. And he got to the ReliaQuest Bowl in 23, obviously made it to the Citrus Bowl in 24. Their first January Bowl in 15 years happened in just the second season in that ReliaQuest Bowl game in 23. You look at 2022, they won 8 games. They were ranked by the CFP committee for the first time in program history ever. They got as high as 14th in the AP poll and led the nation in scoring defense that year, and led the nation, set a school record for interceptions that year, 24. Bret Bielema, he's also turned this program into one of the top programs in producing NFL talent since he's been there. Illinois is one of 5 schools with 3 or more players drafted in the first 3 rounds of both the 2023 and 2024 drafts. The other ones, Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, Penn State. And then there's Illinois was the 5th. Of Bret Bielema's 12 draft picks at Illinois, 8 have been top 100 selections. That's the 4th best mark in the Big Ten, behind Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. Your big, traditional blue blood powers in that conference. That's the only 3 teams that are ahead of his NFL draft production and what he's produced. Overall, he sent 165 players to the NFL in his career as a head coach. I think this is a guy that you look at the coaching pedigree. You also look at his list of football mentors that he worked under at one point. Played and worked for Hall of Famer Hayden Fry at Iowa. After spending a couple seasons there, then he goes to Kansas State, works under, Hall of Famer Bill Snyder. Helps them, Kansas State, win the 2003 Big 12 championship. Then 2 seasons later, he goes to Wisconsin, named the defensive coordinator there. And he works for another Hall of Famer in Barry Alvarez. So this is a guy that has been on 3 coaching staffs with Hall of Fame head coaches that he'd learned under, that he was able to grow under, that he could take lessons from. And he's done all of this and put it towards this Illinois football program. Then, before he got hired at Illinois, he was also in the NFL for 3 years. His first 2 seasons in the NFL were with the Patriots. He was a consultant to Bill Belichick during that time in 2018. Then he became the team's defensive line coach in 2019. And that's the year that the Patriots won the AFC East, had a 12-4 record, and had the best defense in the NFL. And in his first year there, they went to the Super Bowl and beat the Rams. So this is a guy that also brought NFL pedigree, winning championship pedigree to Illinois. So you combine what he's done with his production of just taking this program to new heights, developing, producing high-quality NFL players, learning under 3 college football head coaches that are Hall of Famers, and then also working under Bill Belichick in New England. That's all conducive to a guy that's a really great football coach and a guy that I think is really getting overlooked. And this Illinois team is getting overlooked as well. This roster for the Fighting Illini really much returned 3/4 of their production from last year. They still have Luke Altmaier at quarterback, a guy that I really think is probably a top 3 quarterback in the Big Ten, and a team that's going to be scary this year. And I think it's time to start giving Bret Bielema his credit, give it where it's due. This is a guy that's a great football coach and a winner. So we're going to take our last break of the show now. When we come back, we're going to finish off our ACC rankings. We're going to do those top 5 teams, going to discuss them, why I have them ranked where they are. So stick with us. We'll be right back on the GSMC College Football Podcast.